What are some good internet rabbit holes to fall into during this time of quarantine? You could always have a go at the internet's hardest puzzle, Nutprint. It's been online since 2004, but only 67 people ever made it through all 140 levels. I've been playing since 2007. I'm in the 70s now. Heads up for all the mobile losers like me. You absolutely need to do this on desktop. Thank you? Just tried it on Mobile Nightmare. We'll try on a laptop later. Not trying to brag or anything, but I made it to level 2. I started the first puzzle and was confused if I was about to do some horror type thing. The music and atmosphere is scary. Is this a horror website? The Delphi murders. If even a minor percent of Redditors took 1 minute to view this video, audio, especially if you live in the Midwest or know people in the Midwest, there's a good chance this case could be solved. Today, quick summary, 2 young teens, Abby Williams, 13, and Libby German, 14, had a day off from school and went for a walk on a local trail bridge in the small town of Delphi, Indiana on February 13, 2017. After walking across an abandoned railroad bridge in a desolate area of the trail system, a man followed them across the bridge and forced them down a hill. He murdered them. The crazy thing is, Libby had been filming Abby with her phone and was able to secretly capture the start of her encounter with her killer on video before putting the phone in her pocket. Police have released part of the video, audio. It's not very good quality, but it is the best they have and captures the killer and his voice. Both NASA and Disney assisted in editing it to make it clearer, but there wasn't a lot to work with. But police really want people to focus on his movement. Even without looking at someone's head, you could pick out a family member or close friend by their mannerisms, body, way they move, etc., and you would obviously know their voice. There are a lot of ridiculous conspiracy theories out there that police have debunked, so don't fall down that hole. Stick to what the FBI, state police have released. The killer is a white male between 1840. They believe he lives locally in the area, previously lived in the area, or has family there. This isn't just a place you stumble upon. Witnesses who passed him on the trail prior said he had reddish-brown hair, and, likely between 5 feet 6 inches and 5 feet 8 inches. They were not catfished or speaking to anyone online about a meeting. In other words, this was a horrific stranger encounter. They weren't lured or anything. 2 sketches were released that both look quite different. Police now say the suspect most likely looks like a combination of the 2 sketches, but again, I think the most important thing is to watch the actual video. 2 of the witnesses that helped with the original sketch said they were unhappy with parts of the first sketch, and don't believe the second sketch looks anything like the man they saw. The witnesses said they were unable to provide an accurate description on the lower half of the man's face, since he had a white scarf wrapped around his lower mouth, chin area. There are multiple people out there who know this man. They grew up with him, maybe work with him, maybe he's their brother-in-law, but there's a good chance they just haven't seen the video yet. The more people who see the video, the higher chance this B-star will be recognized. I always encourage people to watch it and share it so someone else sees it. The families of these girls are desperate for answers. If you have a tip, you can remain 100% anon and email it. There's also a $250K reward. The killer is a white male between 1840. Based on the picture and the video, how he's dressed, the way he moves, I'd say closer to 40 than 18. Yeah. I think he's probably at least around 30, based on weight, dress, voice, and mannerisms. The reason I say weight is that he looks a bit paunchy to me, which indicates that he might have used to have been thinner, but gained weight as he aged. I seriously doubt this is a teenager or a guy in his early or mid-20s. Great job on your quick rundown and getting this out there. More people will definitely look more into this case because of you. Delphi is about 20 minutes from me. What happened to Abby and Libby shook Central Indiana hard. The girls did a great job trying to record him. My heart breaks for them and their families. Thank you for spreading the word. My saved posts on Reddit. Take the time to go back through them and act in some way that reflects why you saved the post in the first place. I save way too many posts. I must have more than 1,000 saved. Yup, I have the same problem. Wish I could find a way to search through them, via titles, keywords, etc. I wish there was a folder option to categorize saved posts. I've been down a rabbit hole to make sourdough bread. I'm fascinated now. I didn't realize how the process works. I saw some lady who's been using the same starter since the 1970s, and she got hers from a woman who used hers for the last 100 years. The Boyle clan mother dough. Tang 4 days. That's Tangtown. Charles? my90stv.com. This is a fun, novelty website where you can easily lose yourself 4 hours with nostalgia. Basically, it uses YouTube videos to simulate watching TV in 90s and allows you to specify the year you want, along with what categories you want to see when you change channels. There is also my 80s TV and my 70s TV. I love the old HTML look. Absolutely brilliant and nostalgic at the same time. Remember when websites had music playing automatically when open? So go to Wikipedia and pick a country and look at a history of their leaders. Can be interesting to see a list of them and the politics behind it, especially African countries cause they're wild how often they switch and for why. You could always play the Hitler game. Hit a random page on Wikipedia. You have 5 pages to find Hitler. There's also a game where if you click the first linked word in each article, you'll eventually end up on the article for philosophy. I'm trying this right now and it just throws me into a loop from Latin to science back to Latin again. The Rotten Library, rotten.com, library has an archive of essentially a pre-Wikipedia with handwritten articles on weird stuff, cults, murders, etc. It's cross-linked so it's easy to get lost. It's a relic of when the web was just scattered information with no real way to find it. The Rotten Library was my teenage introduction to so many oddities that today get reposted on Reddit every few months. Same. I spent so many hours on rotten.com in my teens. My mom and I were obsessed with it. Opened my mind to a world of stuff. That's funny. Rotten.com is the reason my mom stopped letting teenage me get on the internet. Caught me looking at some old naked lady. I don't know, I was a kid. I would have been banned from the computer if either of my parents knew I was on Rotten. Especially since I thought the Freak of the Month submissions were so interesting at like 12 years old. Does anyone remember a series of photos and backstory about a woman and her lover who murdered her boyfriend who was a drug dealer and took heaps of Polaroids? Alleged of corpse defilement, decapitation, genitals removed, may have even stuck them in his mouth, all the while they are posing naked with the corpse. It was one of the first things I saw on the internet, but I've noticed no matter what I put into Google I get no results. It was from the 80s I believe. TV tropes. You'll suddenly start to refer scenes in movies as wow, what a tearjerker and your whole family will hate you. But God, is that website so fun to lurk. It's a terrible website. I hate it that I love it. Seriously, as rabbit holes go, this is one of the best. I didn't know what it was until Minecraft splash text said something like less addictive than TV tropes. I think they removed that splash, but 4000s. It was too late. Pull Minecraft. Think of all the players they lost who thought TV tropes. What's that? Let's look it up. On YouTube, I have been viewing this channel named Horror Stories. It's a collection of short, but brief real-life horror stories of people who died in the most horrible, unimaginable, and unsuspecting way. No clickbaits, on-point storytelling. Mr. Nightmare is also pretty good at real-life scary stories. He has a great voice for telling scary stories and makes good use of stock images and stock video to create atmospheric visuals. Mr. Nightmare is my favorite, but if you like that then you might enjoy Corpse Husband. The stories aren't the same, but they are true horror stories and most are stock images and such. But sometimes he does animated videos which are really good, because the animation is dark and creepy, which is perfect for the stories. Maybe you could find out what's on the second page of Google. There's a second page? It's known as the dark web. That's where the hacker 4chan resides. khanacademy.org. I recommend this because it's become obvious that part of the problem right now is how many people didn't do well in school, me included. Big part of why I love this site, or did not have the opportunity, and thus tune out valuable information they don't understand. I wish more people took advantage of the fact that scholastic information is free, or close to it, just gotta look for it, online nowadays. Before the internet you had to be lucky enough to afford education, and live in a place where the kind of opportunity was available. Most people in the past didn't get to change their future as easily as we can. My father's hope as a kid in the 70s was to, one day, be rich enough to have other people go to the library and find out things for him. Google's a fair bit cheaper. This and Crash Course on YouTube is also a fun YouTube channel to binge. They have series on tons of topics and always adding new ones. They're pretty funny and easy to follow. Good for light watching. In secondary school, high school. Now, can confirm this site is amazing. Pretty much all the students at my school use it, because Khan's explanations are to the point and easy to understand. Not many people use textbooks anymore, even though they are provided. Most people just use this and Google. Science channels. From entertaining to informative, science channels have been my favorite types of channels to binge. Sauce is one of the best at this. Backyard Scientist, Mark Robert, and Slow-Mo Guys to name a few. And if you're up to a mental challenge, go for really heady, concept, theory-laden channels like PBS Space-Time and Quantum Gravity Research. Kurzgesagt is also very good. I've been getting into reading about quantum mechanics. I figure if the quarantine lasts a year or two I still won't understand any of it. One professor at my uni said if someone tells you that they understand quantum mechanics, they don't. He was quoting Richard Feynman. If you think you understand quantum mechanics, you don't understand quantum mechanics. The professor could have been Richard Feynman. They were and weren't Richard Feynman, until you asked. Chris Chan, A Comprehensive History. Another good one is Jason Genova and the Del Rey Misfits. Jason Genova is kinda like the bodybuilding Chris Chan. The Del Rey Misfits is more general, and Jason is a recurring character in a wide and vast array of people who are all a little off that work out at the same gym. The Titanic didn't really sink. Instead, the Olympic did in an insurance scam. Edited to add, I don't actually believe this. It's just one hell of a theory to read. This is the best conspiracy theory I have ever heard. Proved wrong though after they check stamp details on a part of the sunken ship.